A lot of people don't agree with me, but we have shifted to a matriarchal society. We have.
Yes, yeah.
And there are benefits and there are drawbacks to both. People believe matriarchal, patriarchal, right? And so we have to recognize, hey, so the toughness is not valued like it used to be. The hardness is not valued like it used to be. But what they don't understand is it's still desired. So you have to value what you desire and the methodology to get it there. Because we don't want a generation of weak men. We don't want a generation of men who can't handle being talked to, being yelled at, or something not going their way. They all fall to pieces, because then who's going to take care of the woman when she does it?
Welcome to another edition of Be Great Podcast, where we're always interviewing great people to be able to share and empower men to be great. And so today I have a special guest, my guy, Carl. Carl, how you doing, my guy?
Man, I'm good, fam. Good to be here with you.
Yeah, man. Well, if you wouldn't mind, introduce yourself to the people. Tell them a little about yourself.
Sure, yeah, man. My name's Carl Gray III. I'm a business solutions architect out of Landover, Maryland, being DMV born and raised. But you got a connection, I'm a South Carolina boy by my mom.
Yeah.
Down in Lancaster, right across the bridge. But yeah, man, so that's what I do. I help people to start, launch, and grow their businesses. I've been in consulting for over 20 years now. I worked for at one point, what was the largest minority CPA firm in the country. And so, that afforded me the opportunity to actually see a lot. And, so I did some consulting for Marriott, Carlton. I helped to do the Detroit Public School when they were in receivership, do some things with their offices and stuff like that. Since leaving there, I started my own cybersecurity firm.
Wow.
I'm an ethical hacker. I helped to write, I was the SME on writing the IT strategic plan for the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency for the United States Treasury.
Wow.
Right now, I'm doing a risk management framework for a university in the DMV. But my real focus right now is on youth entrepreneurship, really helping to raise the next generation of Black. I mean, I have no problem to say that Black entrepreneurs will become the creators, will become the founders. That's what I want my legacy to be.
Man, that's amazing, man. I kind of want to go backwards in order to
Sure.
speed up, go forward.
Love that.
Let's talk about your upbringing, man. What made you, what's some of the challenges that you had to face? How was you in your early years before you are the man you are now?
Man, and I have to give all the glory to the Most High.
Yeah.
For bringing me through, because the statistics weren't in my favor. My mom didn't graduate high school until I graduated college. My dad was locked up a lot of my childhood, drugs and dealing and selling. So I've seen a lot. Grew up in not the best of neighborhoods, in Landover, Maryland. Place they call Kentland the Zoo. They called it the Zoo, so you don't even imagine. And even I tell people all the time, I was not a thug, wasn't that, but adjacent. So stuff that most people think like, I can't believe you did that, was normal to me. But then I got friends who done stuff like, yeah, nah, I'm not nobody's thug. So, but yeah, I mean, it was just that, growing up in a household, and again, I'm grateful for the ministry I was a part of and still am a part of. My pastor, she really helped to raise me a lot, did a lot of installation in me. But man, I will say I saw more than I should have. I had more responsibility than you would really want to give to a boy. Like I remember, and I don't even know if I've even told my father that I remember this, but I was 3 years old and the police were coming to arrest him. And this was in the middle of the night, and I happened to be up, and I came downstairs, and I saw him crying, tears running down my eyes. And he picks me up, and he points in the mirror, and he says, "Hey, you can't cry. You the man of the house now. You got to take care of your mother and your brothers." This is at 3. Now, I never forgot that, and I took that on.
Okay.
And, and so, ever since that, it's even something I'm gonna lie, I battle with it now, of being the lone wolf. Of being the one who has to take care of everything and everybody. Now, mind you, it does benefit me in some ways, but in some ways, that it's like, dang, am I really in this thing alone all the time? So, I mean, but growing up in those neighborhoods, I got in trouble in high school. I mean, I'm talking about firearms and, fighting all the time and all that stuff that I can't even say why I did it. So you say, what were some of the hardships? That was, I mean, it was just like trying to be a boy while thinking you got to be a man.
Man, I want to stay on that for a minute because I know what I know now. I think sometimes we're asking a child to be a man what's your thoughts about that?
It shouldn't happen, man. we should teach them how to be a man, but not require them to be that man. Instill the foundational things that help them. And I'm not talking about this whole thing, they call mental health, all that. And that's cool. You know what I'm saying? I'm with that. I'm for that. But I'm not really going down that path. It's more of, let's have examples for them. Teach them the competition piece, but show them that, that there are safe places to be. You ain't got to go on somebody's couch all the time, but the mentorship in the barbershop. I know, playing sports, all these things that do give a lot of input to a young man as he's growing up and doing things. I think we got to go down that path as opposed to saying, the don't cry. Now, mind you, I do think that, I ain't saying go around crying all the time, bro. You can't do that. You really do gotta, be able to understand and be able to know when to show the emotions. Can't be all the time,
Yes.
because there's a difference between men and women.
Yeah.
But I do believe that, there has to be, we need to know that there's a safe place. And that if it does happen, it's not necessarily judged. It's not necessarily put down, but, but it's shown, all right, but as a man, this is how you handle this. Still be solution-based with it. You can't just go cry and want somebody to help you out. But let's just teach them to stop being solution-based, but don't put the responsibility on them of being their mother's kings, because so many, that epitomis complex that goes on a lot of times in our community, like, yo, I'm like, no, it ain't your boyfriend. It ain't your man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm grateful my mother never did that, but there were some things that she wouldn't even, things they don't even know. A lot of times it's not known because we as men have to be there. We have to be in place to say, to temper that thing, because women are always going to be women.
Exactly.
They're always going to be women. And there's nothing wrong with being a woman, but a woman will never be a man.
Exactly.
They'll never be a man. And so they don't know how to approach things the way that we do.
Yeah.
And so it's that approach that's often missing.
Yeah.
And even when it's there, sometimes it gets put down.
Yes.
It's like when a man tries to teach a boy how to be a man, there's always somebody there saying, don't do that. It's like, wait, but you understand the world you're trying to go into?
Wow. Man, you got some stuff, and I want to kind of add to where you're going with this, because my heart is, especially when they got a single parent, like a mother, and raising a son, they tell the son that he's the man of the house. And I think that's a wrong approach, because now you're giving him a responsibility he's not built for.
No.
He's not able to pay the bills. He's not able to step into that role fully. So you should not make him think, because guess what? What you have now breeded was somebody who think he's authoritative.
Yeah.
And when you try to correct him, he feel he's a man.
I'm a man.
So now, why would you even tell him something he's not ready for? You say you groomed him to become a king, but you don't give him the authority of a king because he is not ready for that.
And when you say that, and this is not even like something I thought about. I really thought as you were talking. In Ephesians it says, children obey your parents, and Lord, this is right. But then it says, parents, don't provoke your children to wrath, right? And I don't know if it's, I can't really say what the Apostle Paul was really saying, but and my thoughts is like, it's not just provoking them to wrath, but like you said, putting them in a position where it causes a dichotomy in their own minds.
Yes.
It's like, you calling me the man of the house. The man supposed to run the house.
Yeah.
How are you gonna tell me what to do? And so that's when you get the baby moment mentality. They're like this. Look, you've been calling me your equal this whole time.
Yeah.
You can't be an authority now. You can't be an authority now. So, and I think that's where, we really mess up, like you were saying.
Yeah.
He's not the king.
No.
He's not the king.
No.
He can't be the king. He's still a prince.
Yes.
Let him be a boy, because, and one thing I'm grateful that my mother, allowed us to do, and again, a lot is because of the support of our church, is we still got to play the sports in the streets. You know what I'm saying? We played tackle football on cement, It's a thing we never let them do now. We played basketball, in a mural, all that type of stuff. So we had the ability to have fun. So, she didn't take that away from it. And she never kind of had that epitomis thing, but it was just because of her own personality, being the youngest in her own family, and always have had somebody to take care of her. She kind of was like, okay, well, what do I do? And so, so it's not like she took it from, and I don't think any of our mothers take it from the wrong perspective. There's a wrongness in how it is.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be like that in the first place. So it's like, I don't, I can't fault it, but so.
Man, I want to go down the path, and you kind of made me think about it. The thing about, I feel that women differ from men. And I hate to see a lot of things, I think, where our society is, because we allow moms to pretty much take control of a lot of situations. Prime example, in playing sports.
Yeah.
Do you feel everybody needs a trophy?
No.
See, I feel that's a mom's thing, right?
Winners get trophies. Winners get trophies.
Yeah.
That's it.
So that's the key. I think about sometimes we have diluted us as men because we allow people to think that just because you showed up, you're supposed to be a salute. You should be you should be pushed in the place that at least you tried.
Because even as you say that, it's because sports are not nurturing. They aren't made to be nurturing. It's a competition. Now, maybe a coach can have that, but he's not even there to nurture you, especially not on the field. Like, you're gonna get some words said to you you might not like. You're gonna get pushed. Because honestly, there's something in us that has to be able to build to take that. If we're gonna be the provider to protect it, because we have to look at it from an end game. It's not just about the childhood. It's about us creating men, us creating who these people are going to be in the future.
Yes.
And so when you say give them a participation trophy, we can't afford to give them. It's not about now. It's about later on when they feel like even if they didn't do their best, they should get the same thing as everybody else. That's not how this works, because you're not going to be able to properly provide. You're not going to be able to properly protect. You're going to have a family that fails because you think you're entitled to something because you showed up instead of really showing up. So even as you say that, that desire for a mother to nurture can also be short-sighted, which is why it's important that we have that family unit. And this is not this is not putting it all on the mother. This is just saying, hey, we gotta have the men in playing those roles to say, because we are very future minded. We think about the things that as a man we deal with, and most of the time we look at it like, I don't want you to go through that. Like, I don't have kids, but the most of the people that come through my camp are young Black boys, and I have conversations with them that I don't have in front of the girls. I pull up to the side, I tell them stories for real.
No doubt.
And I'm like, I understand where you at. I understand where you coming from. But more than that, I know where you're going. And I want you to get where I am twice as fast as me. This is how you do it. And I'm not here to be easy on you. I'm not here to be easy on you. I'm here to get a result. If you walk away saying he was hard on me, cool, but I guarantee in 20 years, you're going to look back and be like, yo, Coach Carl was... He was right.
I think about one of my coaches, Coach Doolin. Man, Coach Doolin was crazy. He been in prison for some of the stuff he did, man. But Coach, people ask me whether I've been in the military. I said no, but I grew up playing football, and I had some crazy coaches. Now they can't do what they did back today as they did back then, but it kept me out the streets. It kept me in line to where it disciplined me to realize I can't operate on potential. And I think that's the sad thing that I think a lot of our youth do with today. They think this because they show up that they can cash in that check called potential. And I'm like, man, ain't nobody gonna pay you for potential. No, you got to show up and do the work.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I had a conversation. Well, somebody in my family was working at a certain job. I won't say it because they're gonna put them on Front Street. But this is the funniest thing. This person was thinking because they show up that they were supposed to be able to transfer to another location. But we come to find out this person was showing up an hour too late for work. And they was like, well, why didn't they just allow me to move to another spot? Why would they? And so that's just kind of sad that people think because I showed up that I can automatically be rewarded for this being here. And so that's, again, I'm talking about potential. So what do you do, and how do you speak to the youth that you have the opportunity to speak to? And this all can be for everybody, because even some of our men now get stuck at 17, and that's my next conversation. But how do you deal with people who think who get stuck on potential? How to move from this think that we're entitled versus actually having to step up and man up to get that done?
I'll be honest with you. I don't know how to deal with it. I gotta treat them. I focus on who wants to do action, and I let them see what action gets, because potential don't pay. Like, you don't show up to a job for too long and just get paid. If they do that, the business fails. It's got to be performance. I get in this discussion all the time, because I used to be in politics for a while, and people talk about certain things, entitlements and all that type of stuff. I say, you can have entitlements if you want, but no, dependence on it is a detriment to the individual and the community and the society as a whole.
Yes.
And so I try to, instead of, I don't attack the entitlement mindset on the individual. I attack it, on Mars, but on the individual, I don't do it because it's so entrenched in them, right? But what I tell them is, I say, let's look at the result. How you gonna get this sitting on your butt? No, really, how?
Yeah.
You cannot get there sitting on your butt. And especially when I'm talking to boys, like, man, if this was the court, what you gonna do? Like, we call our program the AAU of entrepreneurship. You know what I'm saying? And when you talk about your crazy coach, I think about Coach Johnson, who was my basketball coach at elementary school, bro. He's 10 years old, but he played in the NBA.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And he came back. He ain't played long, but he came back and he was our coach in elementary school. And when I say cussed us out, I'm 10 and getting called everything under the sun. We running suicides, laps, all this type of stuff, man. But no team came within 40 points of beating us.
Wow. Yeah.
And none of us questioned his care for us because he's the one driving us home. Everybody, all 12 of us, home after practice in his van. We packed in it. Maybe like 10. Some parents go pick us up, but most of his parents couldn't pick us up.
Yeah.
He driving us home. He buying us food. We get in trouble. They call him.
He's showing up. Yeah.
He shows up and stops us from getting suspended. Instead, he give us a good talking to and bench us.
Okay.
But because the thing is, but as you were saying, it's like, it's that mindset because coaches think about winning. Coaches think about winning. And that's what we have to be. We have to have a mindset of, we gonna win. What does it take for us to win? Because we're already 400 years behind. None of our own doing, but we still gotta win. If the quarterback been in the game and he done gone down and we got us down 28 points, the quarterback they bring can't say, hey, that don't count. That don't count. We got to start 0-0 because I just got here. Nah, we got to play the game to win.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about. But see, but I think we have to respect the coach more. And when I say the coach, not necessarily the person there, but that coach mindset of, we gotta win.
Yeah.
Because if you go back and you look, even like post-slavery, like right then, that was our primary focus. Our primary concern is, how do we as a people win? How do we get out? You look at Booker T's book Up From Slavery. It was like, how do we win? Even though they were combative on their methodologies, they both had the same mindset of, how do we win in this? We are here now. But if we do too much nurturing, nurturing is important.
Yes, it is.
It is important. Don't get me wrong. But with boys,
you gotta have the discipline.
You can't do too much. You got to because the world gonna do it to us.
Exactly. I'm glad you say that, man. Because definitely we can't be so one-sided that we can't have both. So both of us need it, and I even say it's important for us as men to be a nurturer also.
Yeah.
And so we have to not only be, and I learned that because I raised 3 boys. And I ain't gonna say I was tough. Especially on the first 2. I apologize a lot of times because I was that dad. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't up for no little game because I ran game. I knew that, so I was like, nah, we gonna. But by the time my youngest came around, I kind of got things a little better. But one thing I was open with them. I was like, yo, because I was a young father. I was 15 when my son was born. And so I knew what it was to look at yourself as being, trying to be women and things going after the ladies, but also I tried teaching them how to count yourself as valuable also.
Yeah.
So that was one of my main things. So I speak all that because I want to share about how I operate, especially as I did mentoring and things like that. Future leaders, not bottom feeders.
Ooh.
That's a nugget right there. So I want you to speak on that.
So as you know, my book, it's called Raising Founders, right? It used to be called Raising Future Founders. But I feel Raising Founders is a little more appropriate because it's the now. And like you said, we gotta bring up these it's leadership that's needed in our community. Number one, male leadership.
Yes.
And I'm thankful for the women who've stepped up to the plate. Like I said, my mother, my aunt, my grandmother, my pastor, all of these people who really helped to raise me, yet and still there's a heavy need for the masculine leadership.
Yes.
Masculine male leadership in our community. because it's missing right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's only really coming from the rappers, and some of them ain't even that masculine, but they're not talking about nothing that we want our kids doing, or the athletes. But athletics doesn't necessarily, while I'm very for sports and athletics, it still doesn't show a societal growth situation. Some of my heroes, are Malcolm X and Fred Hampton. They were community builders.
Okay.
We don't have them unless they're politicians now. And as one who was in politics for a while, I'm like, too often that's too much of a money and power grab. We need to show, and it's going to take men stepping up and being sacrificial in their approach, and even saying, hey, this might not be the best thing for me, financially or socially or whatever, but I'm gonna make this sacrifice for these youngins and show them what leadership is, what it is to set an example for something, what it is to build something, what it is to see something through, because we don't see that. A lot of times we get saved from doing the hard stuff.
Yes.
That's because the man ain't there. That's because, and when the man is there, he ain't valued. And that's the thing. We got to make sure that our men, masculine men who are doing things for the community, are valued. So when they come in, it's not like, well, you being too hard on him. Let me finish. He gonna know I love him at the end. Don't stop me here though. He got to hear this part first. Like I would have, sometimes my nephews or my godchildren, godsons, especially the the girls. I don't really know. Like I'm soft. Like whatever. Look, Uncle Carl, Goddaddy, anything, whatever. Okay, fine, you win. When it comes to them boys, they know they got to earn every second. They know I love them. They know they can still get from me, but they also know I expect from them. So when they show up in my face, they tell me an accomplishment, or they tell me where they need help. I'm there for both of them. I'm like, if you need help, call me. Let me know. I have folks, I ain't never met some people, sons, and they put them on the phone with me. He talked to my son. He goes, I'm like, yeah, and here's my personal phone number. So when your mother, your aunt, your grandmother get on your nerves, you call me. Now I'm still gonna tell them what you said, because I don't keep secrets from parents. But you got somebody to talk you through it. Tell I'm gonna let you vent. But that's the thing, man. It's like we gotta value that voice of the man, even if, oh man, can I say this? Even if sometimes it offends the woman. I'm sorry. Like, you're not gonna understand all of this. You're not gonna feel all of this. It's not because it ain't really for them. This for our sons. This for that next generation. The ones that you say you wish you had in your home. This the only way it happens. We'll have a few outliers. You know what I'm saying? My mother did a good job, me and my brothers. She did. But I know that there's some things, if my father had played the role he could have played, and he did his best, drug addicts do what drug addicts do. And he'll tell you, he apologizes all the time like that. You ain't gotta apologize, I'm here now. But if he would have been that, can't imagine where I'd be.
Wow. And what you're speaking is something I speak on all the time. And I raised two boys. It wasn't my biological, but they're my boys. You never hear me say they're my step boys. But it was times where it was a challenge. Now, of course, you're speaking what they want to hear, but from the mother. But times you have to step in and you have to discipline. And that's sometimes a challenge with the mother. But I'm the type guy where, hey, if I'm going to feed you, and I'm gonna lead you, I'm gonna do on the good and the bad. So we had to have those conversations. Now, I had to learn, and I'm still learning, how to have that conversation with the queen, the woman, about respecting the voice of a man. I say the roar of a lion.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because that's different. That's a different conversation. That's a different tone, but it's necessary. And so I wanted you to speak on that. What would your guidance be to someone who's in that that situation like I was in, who sometimes need to, and it may not be your biological child, but you sometimes, the mothers are very appreciative of you stepping in and taking the headship, but now when you're trying to be a disciplinarian, how do you still help that man to to not just go off. Because sometimes we step on that piggy toe. As a man, you're like, oh, now, so we go way to the left.
Like the Stephen R. Covey said, seek to understand before seek to be understood. And I know for a fact that with most of our men, we don't feel like we're understood. And we want to be heard. We want to be, seen. And I get it. It's like, yo, we still neglected. Y'all don't like that. They don't get it. They don't like, and we can't even talk about it because it gets shut down. Well, like that whole other side come in. But it's like, help her to see that you understand her and show that you're trying to get the same thing. Say, I'm trying to get this same result. But this is what it takes. This is what it takes. Yeah. Like, I understand, like, we go and get the good part in, but they gotta feel some things.
Yeah.
It's like working out.
Yeah.
It's like working out. If you don't ever hurt working out, you'll never get stronger. Yeah. You're just working out.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, we could tell them, but that roar is necessary. Yeah. We wouldn't have. So when you talk about a lion's roar, right? So there's a drum in Africa that's called the lion's roar. Wow. Okay. It's used in war.
Oh, okay.
It paralyzes the enemy. Wow. It paralyzes the enemy. Like, the scripture says, the bold as a lion. Okay. That's why. That's why. He said the enemy walks about as a roaring lion. Because when we roar, we to talk about it from the positive standpoint, it paralyzes that thing. It paralyzes that rebellion. It paralyzes that disobedience. It paralyzes something. And it's like, oh, because they're scared now. And that fear can be healthy.
Yes.
Because you don't know what's coming next. Be like, this is a lion that's roaring. This is a lion that's roaring. A lion can also do other things. So I need to stop and pay attention to what this lion's going to do next. And it's not a threat, but it should be a fear.
Yes.
Like, I'm never going to put them in harm's way, but they might have to feel some stuff.
Yes.
And you got to let me do that, because if it wasn't supposed to be there, God wouldn't have gave me this voice.
Yes.
My voice would sound like yours.
I just think about sometimes I'm not saying women have never seen tough times, but life is not fair. And we can't raise boys that think life is supposed to be fair. And so by them being able to, like I say, what's the best way I think about it? I think about when you think about when you become a man, and think about certain tribes, and especially after they put you out there in some tough situations. Why is that? It's not there to kill you, but it's there to prepare you for the real world. Yeah. And we have to be okay, especially from the woman's perspective, to step back, because the conversation I've had, and I've seen it firsthand, was don't correct me now in front of the child. Don't be like, well, no, that's not the time. Now, we can have a conversation later on, but do not dethrone me. Don't take away my, take away my fame.
Right.
Don't
defame me.
Don't defame me. No, don't do that, because now they're
them.
Gonna manipulate the situation. And a child is a great manipulator. We all were. And so we have to be on the same team.
Yeah.
Even though we may have to disagree, but it's a way to conversate about it, not in front of the child.
Yeah.
And that's so important.
And I think, and again, and people will never, a lot of people don't agree with me, but we have shifted to a matriarchal society. We have.
Yes.
And there are benefits and there are drawbacks to both. People, whether you're matriarchal or patriarchal, right? Somebody got to be in charge. And so we have to recognize, hey, so the toughness is not valued like it used to be. The hardness is not valued like it used to be. But what they don't understand is it's still desired. So you have to value what you desire and the methodology to get it there. Because we don't want a generation of weak men running around. We don't want a generation of men who can't handle being talked to, being yelled at, or something not going their way. They all fall to pieces. Because then who's going to take care of the woman when she does it? When she gets emotional, he won't know how. He was like this. I don't know how to do that. I've been on your side though. I've been doing that the whole time. Like, what do you expect me to do? Like, I can't live that life. So, like, so the thing is, we have to really, you know, and I don't want to say take back the reins of the house, because people can decide how their house is run, all that type of stuff. But we have to really be in position to show the value of masculinity. Like there's a greatness in masculinity. One of the this podcast guy says there's no such thing as toxic masculinity. If it's toxic, it's not really masculine. That's what I believe.
Yeah.
Because to me, at the core of masculinity is being strong to provide and protect. So if it's not doing that first, it's not masculine.
Yeah.
It's not masculine at all. If it's putting down, if it's trying to degrade, if it's trying to put them in a quote unquote place for our own ego, that's not masculinity at all.
Wow.
So there's no such thing to me as toxic masculinity in and of itself, because the toxic masculinity is toxic femininity. I don't believe toxic femininity either.
That's right.
So, but I think what we have to really do is the same way that I'll put it like this: the solution to valuing women is not devaluing men and what's manly. I don't believe that's the answer to it. And I think we have to find that happy medium, that compromise, not even a compromise, it's a togetherness. It's the teamwork. We have to recognize that we need each other, not just for ourselves, but for the next generation. And so if that man, going back to that, if he's going through that, my recommendation, again, I'm not a father. But from the outside looking in as a solutions architect, which is my job, say, let's see how we can be a team on this. You know what I'm saying? Know that if I do this, at the end of the day, I'm also going to do this. If I'm going to discipline, I'm also going to nurture. Know that I'm going to do that. But let me get through this discipline piece. Let me get through that. Don't shut me down. I love them too. I love them as much as you do. Don't devalue my love because it don't look like yours. Sorry, as you can see,
we won on this conversation.
As you can see, right, brother, exactly.
Yeah, and one of my thoughts is, and I've done a lot of different areas in ministry where I work with men. One of the things I see is men sometimes get stuck at 17. Oh yeah, that's a conversation. They may be 42, but they still in the they're still in the mindset of a 17-year-old. And one of my thoughts is because we moved from our mom's house to a girl's house. We go from being, now we try to be a player versus being responsible. So I want you to kind of give me your thoughts and what do you not only see there, but how do you go about combating or kind of helping us as men to step and take our rightful place?
We have to find our own value. We have to find out first, and I was just having this conversation with a sister out there, and I was saying, for so long, as my own demise, my value was in women. Whether it be, my mother, whether it be girls, whether it be, whatever, relationships, it was like, that's where the value was. Which is why I encourage building something, doing something, having something of your own. I didn't have anything of my own.
Wow.
So there was a fight knowing I needed something of my own. But again, I'm from a, my battery power went down. But yeah, so like what I found was that my worth was so stuck there. Like you said, I couldn't grow. I could do, but I couldn't grow.
Okay.
I could have a job, I could make money, but I wasn't growing. I wasn't creating. I wasn't being somebody. I still had, like you said, that mindset of a 17-year-old where I just want what I want when I want it. Because I've been coddled. A lot of stuff been coddled for me. And so I think we have to, as men, reject that part. If we're already a grown man, we have to reject that thing in us that's entitled. Reject that thing that thinks we're supposed to get that participation. We have to reject it because that's how we'll move forward. But then at the same time, if you flip it, when we're raising up, we got to teach a disdain for it. We don't teach enough of a disdain for the negative in order for us to move forward. But like you said, getting stuck there, that's real and that's scary.
It is.
It's what has caused our generation to be where it is now. Like they have everything at their fingertips and not progressing. Like our men aren't more manly. These boys, unfortunately, this generation, I'm afraid of what's going to come from them. That's why I'm in the schools now. And like I said, 60% of my students are boys. And they talk to me. They talk to me. And I'm like, this is what you got. And I talk to their parents too, because their mothers will call me. They'll send an email, hey, he's having this problem. Can you talk to him? I'm like, this, I'm just the business coach who sees him like for 3 weeks out of the entire year. But sure, I'll talk to him. So yeah.
Wow. And but I want you to kind of talk on this because some of the challenges is some of my youth, and I think about my boys when they will start working at Cowwinds, they had chores. And they had responsibility. They were cutting grass at 12, washing cars at 8. You know what I'm saying? You out here, you get out here working. And some of my kids are being so they don't know nothing about the work. I've had kids don't know how to sweep. I'm like, wow, that's crazy. So that's day and time where we at. Kids have no work, it's no true work skills, and so it's scary.
It's no work. And for me, it's not even so much the skills, it's the ethic.
Yeah.
It's getting something done. I saw a post the other day, and I reposted it. It said I had my first job at 12. At 14, I don't understand kids being 19, 20 not working. I'm like, yeah, I don't either. But I had some mothers jump on there and say, I work hard so my child doesn't have to do this. They don't have to do that. And like I said, I'll never tell somebody how to raise their child. But what I can say as an employer, they're not employable. I'll say you're setting them up for failure. I'll say you're hurting them from my standpoint. You're not helping them. You're not showing them, you're not giving them a way to actually, grow and scale and be who they're supposed to be. Because when they get out there to the real world and you've told them that they don't have to work, they're gonna believe the same thing. Somebody else is supposed to build it up. And I've had to fire people. I've had to not hire folks because they expected something that they should have gotten from their parents.
Wow. Yeah, I always say, I'll tell guys in a minute, ain't no nipples here. Ain't no milk over here. What we doing?
At all.
We ain't about to do that game.
Indeed, yeah.
And so, but I want you to talk about what you have going on. I know you got several different pieces going. If you can, give us a little understanding of what you have as far as a business, as far as working with that youth. What do you have going?
Sure. So like I said, I'm a business solutions architect. So I help businesses of all ages. Start, launch, grow, and scale. And I'm actually using what I do with adults to fund what I'm doing with young people. Is called Raising Founders. I call it the AAU of entrepreneurship, where we bring the rigor of sports, of basketball. Like you see, I tell you, like, imagine your child being able to write a business plan like LeBron can shoot a jumper.
Wow.
That's where we come from with it. We help them to write scalable and launchable business plans, not just a science fair project they can present, not presentable, but launchable. And because what I believe is it gives them a sense of accomplishment, a sense of worth, and it helps them to make money. So, we actually help them to not just write the plan, but put the things in place, build the website, the social media presence, the business cards, present in front of actual investors. How do you pitch to an investor to get the money? How do you keep your books? The same things that I do with adults, I'm doing with young people, because again, I started business in my 20s, my 30s, my 40s. Not one of them did I not started when I was a teenager. So why not start them? Because if we're going to rebuild Black Wall Street, we can't, they have to. And we have to give them the opportunity. It's cool to play video games. It's cool to play sports. It's cool to be able to sing, dance, rap. But we have to also be the ones who own the infrastructure around all of that. 50% of the jobs that are going to be available in 20 years don't exist today. We have to create. Somebody's going to create them. We've done the work long enough. It's time for us to raise founders.
Yes.
Not just workers. We're raising founders now.
Wow.
So that's what we're doing.
No doubt. Now, let me ask you this. What's some ways that people can plug in, connect with you if they're interested in getting more information?
Sure. I'm at Launch with Carl everywhere.
Okay.
You can also, the book Raising Founders is on Amazon. If you go to raisingfounders.net, we're there. YoungEntrepreneurAcademy.net. You can sign up. We're actually trying to take this. It's in the DMV now. We want to take it everywhere. We're willing to build chapters and teach and train. Like I do professional development for teachers so they learn our methodologies to build it, grow it, scale it. We actually do curriculums for the schools and everything, man.
My God, man, that's amazing, bro. You guys said, man, because I'm in the process of learning more about in the area of speaking. And so I don't believe in reinventing the wheel. If someone else got something that's working, guess what?
Let's go.
You lock in. in. You lock arms and let's find out how we can tackle this
I'm with that
situation together.
100%, family.
So, man, we're going to talk off the camera, but I want to encourage anyone else who are interested in getting in the game and getting off the sideline. You don't have to figure it out all your own. Connect with somebody else who's winning. Let's get in and do what we got to do.
Appreciate you, my brother. Indeed.
Man,
Yes,
likewise, man.
Yes,
so I'm excited. So I want y'all to be inspired from this conversation, because something that was said, something that was talked about, and even if it wasn't talked about, allowed to inspire you to find out where you have been called to help fix. I heard that from Bishop Jakes when he said, what bothers you is what you have been called to help fix. And let's get in the game and let's play this game to win.
That's one there, boy. Oh, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So
Yes,
I want y'all to go out here and win the day and win on purpose. But in the meantime, in between time, y'all lock in, y'all like, subscribe to the channel, but also be great.